Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Monster vs. Monster here on the D&D CR Exposed YouTube channel. My name's Andrew and I will be your commentator, announcer, and all-around controller of monsters here for this event. And what do we got going on tonight? Well, we have another round of big monsters versus small monsters. But it's a little different this time. As you'll see here on the screen, two of our favorite small creatures are back here. Two of our small monsters. We have the ever-lovable Frizz, the plucky goblin on the left, and on the right we have Krim, our kept kobold. How are they here? Well, it seems as though both Frizz and Krim have entered into a dream state together. And once again, we have the arena here. This battling arena where we have once been before, where a series of humanoids were battling out against each other. Yes, name will be taken. Hello there, it's my boy Krim. It is indeed your boy Krim. We haven't seen Krim in quite some time because he's been involved with all of the Eladrin that have adopted him. And as you can see from the image before, he's gotten a little fancier. Again, thanks to Herr Doctor and all of his work for creating custom tokens. We have a custom token now for Frizz and Krim as well. So, in this strange fugue state, dream state that we have going on here between Frizz and Krim, they have apparently brought in some small creatures and some big creatures to fight out against each other. Now, the interesting thing here is that even though this is a bit of a dream state, it's kind of got Nightmare on Elm Street rules going on where, you know, if a player here dies, they're likely to die in the real world as well. So if any of these creatures actually make it out alive, who knows, we might see them again sometime down the road. And let's talk about who we have here for our competitors. Well, no, we don't want that actually. Although I do want the, let me see here. The lair action needs to get brought in because, you know, the battle map gets a turn as well. Ah, yes. Hello, Ian. Yes, your boy Frizz is back. Although, temporarily here, not doing much of anything besides having a dream state. So, let's take a look here. For our small side, we have the Demilich, Huzhek. Then we have a, what was this? A Korred by the name of Dune Copperlily. Then we have Ulrich, who is formerly known as Naergoth Bladelord, or we'll just go with him being a Bladelord. So we have Ulrich the Bladelord. And then we have Trescu, a Kua-toa Whip. Now, I'm not expecting this one to live very long because this is a CR1 versus some really high level creatures here. And on the big side, we have, well, let's see here. We have an Empyrean by the name of Naergoth. And since they have a chance of being evil, this one's going to be evil. This is an evil celestial Empyrean. So Naergoth is that one. Then we have a, what was this? A Dragonflesh Grafter. There we go. Dragonflesh Grafter by the name of Forsaken Face. And if we get here and kind of look in, I mean, yeah, we see why. And then finally we have Cookie, the Megapede. That's it. Cookie, the Megapede. And with that, we have our competitors all presented here. This is technically a smalls versus big, so there is a loose grouping here. You know, if one side happens to attack the other, like with a Demilich here, you know, maybe doing something crazy and kills one of his companions, so be it. Friendly fire is technically on all the time. And what else do we have to say here? I don't know. I think that's about it, really. Yeah, so we just got these sides going off against each other, and we'll see what happens in this battle arena. Now, as was the choice here for people that showed up early and were waiting for the battle here to go on, there was a map interference poll, and it looks like a trap has been sprung is indeed the what we got going on here. So we're going to add the lair action to the encounter as well. And then we will start rolling some dice here. So, a trap has been sprung, and that is what we will do. I'm going to add one more poll to the thing here, asking, are we rolling high or low for the third-party check? So we got third-party check, and are we checking at 100% and lower, or 1% and higher? So 50% or higher. You let me know what you think, and we will go with that when the lair action comes up. Now make sure to get your likes and your votes in soon, because who knows when the lair action will take effect. Now, on top of that, as a reminder, every like on the channel will influence the third-party Devastator coming in, and the third-party Devastator is usually someone huge. Hey, Lucan, hey, how's it going, bud? Yes, let's go indeed. So, with the likes on the channel, if you like the channel, there's a greater chance that the third party will come in and just completely destroy things. And considering this is a dream, there might be some interesting things that pop up in here. Anyways, let's go ahead and begin combat. Alright, combat has technically begun here, and we will go ahead and roll for our NPCs. All of our monsters get their d20s in for initiative, and the first one to go is going to be Ulrich, our Bladelord, followed by Naergoth, our Empyrean, then Huzhek, the Demilich, Trusku, the Kua-toa Whip, Dune, the... I can't remember what they are. I've never used these creatures before. A Korred, and then Forsaken Face, our Dragonflesh Grafter, Cookie, the Megapede, and then the lair action goes last this time. Interesting. Jason, hello! What is this? This is Monster vs. Monster. This is just strictly monsters out in the world. This is kind of a loose world-building exercise here, where anything that's going on will affect the overall game. So technically, these Monster vs. Monsters do follow a loose storyline that has been built here. If you go back and check some of them, and then you follow along, you'll see reoccurring characters coming back, like our two up here, the Goblin Frizz and the Kobold Krim, who are sharing a very interesting dream together. The VTT is Foundry. You can see that in the description notes below, as well as everything else about the map, the name generators, the music, and whatnot. Although the music, I didn't get anything special today, so this is just another free resource. Anyways, let's jump into round one with Ulrich. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what Ulrich, our Bladelord, can do. They have no legendary actions. Thank the lords, thank the gods. They have no spellbook to worry about, and they just have life drain, longsword, longbow, multi-attack, sunlight sensitivity. Considering this is technically a dream, we're not going to worry about sunlight sensitivity, and plate armor. Yes, goblins and kobolds are always fun. They have been a classic here for for the Monster vs. Monsters loose storyline going on. So our Bladelord is just basically a higher level wight. That's really all they are here, especially with that life drain and turning people into zombies, I believe, or somewhere along the line. So, first things first, Ulrich is going to go ahead and draw the longbow. And let's see here. Naergoth can make 3 attacks, either with his longsword or longbow. He can use life drain in place of one of those longsword attacks. Hey, Germinator, welcome aboard. Yes, here we go. Big guys win. We shall see. Don't forget to get your votes in for the poll about the third-party Devastator check at the end of the round as well. All right, so Ulrich is going to go ahead and, let's see. First off, check the attributes. They've got a 12 intelligence, so they've got high intelligence, so good strategic planning and whatnot, and high wisdom as well. So he will definitely know not to fight outnumbered, and looking around and seeing the smaller creatures near and closest to him, he's going to go ahead and maybe just go after the big ones that seem to be posing a bigger threat. Maybe pun intended, I don't know. Alright, so that's going to be 30 feet for our movement, and we will go ahead and have him duck behind this, this stone pillar here of a lion, and... considering this Megapede is a bigger target and possibly a bigger threat, he's going to duck around the corner and take 3 longbow shots. So, attack number 1 is going to be a base 3 to hit, total of 8, which misses. Attack number 2, base 11, total of 16, which does indeed hit Cookie, and deals 13 points of piercing and necrotic damage, which all goes through. Now, if we take a look here at the health bar, it's a little bit of health, not too much. And then a longbow attack number 3 is going to be a base 12, total of 17, for 22 more points of damage, dealing a considerable amount of damage to our Megapede here. Hopefully they'll have a chance to even do anything. We'll see what happens as we continue on with round 1. Now that Ulrich's turn is done, they've moved and attacked, and with no bonus actions to be able to do, they're going to go ahead and move on to Naergoth, our Empyrean here. So, let's take a look at our combatant, the Empyrean. 3 legendary actions. Oh boy, we got to remember to do that now. And they have some damage immunities, which is going to be interesting. They don't, or they do, excuse me, they do have some spellbook. So that could be something. We have Firestorm, Earthquake, Dispel Evil and Good, Commune, Greater Restoration, Pass Without Trace, Water Breathing, and Water Walk. So basically, we only have to worry about 2 of these spells. Plane Shift if they want to get out of there. And then finally, the features of Maul and Bolt, Legendary Resistance, which we can probably do, yes, 3 times. We have legendary actions of Attack, Bolster, and Trembling Strike. Let's take a look at those real quick, because I haven't played this character before. Jason is rooting for the Empyrean. Okay. The Empyrean bolsters all non-hostile creatures within 120 feet of it until the end of the next turn. Bolstered creatures cannot be charmed or frightened, and they gain advantage on ability checks and saving throws until the end of the Empyrean's next turn. Alright, well, that's something that can be used for that. Let's see here. Trembling. Do they not have multi-attack? That's really surprising. Well, with such a fairly big hit, not surprising? But CR23, I would think that they should have a multi-attack, which is very odd. Legendary actions, though, we do have those. We have magic weapons, innate spellcasting, Trembling Strike. Let's take a look at this real quick. The Empyrean strikes the ground with its maul, triggering an earth tremor. All other creatures on the ground within 60 feet of the Empyrean must succeed on a 25 strength save or be knocked prone. Okay, could be handy. We'll see what happens. I think, considering he has, you know, the jump here, we're going to go ahead and use Firestorm probably and see what happens. He could Earth Shake near the archer, get the statue to fall on it. That's very true. We could potentially do that. Let's take a look at the Earthquake here. Oh man, that is so much to go through. I'm just going to go with something a little simpler and probably just do a Firestorm. Let's see what the size is on Firestorm here. 10-foot cube, 150 feet out, 1 action. Oh, man. Yeah, we could potentially do that. I'd have to go through a whole bunch of checks to see if these particular statues fall over or not. Go with Firestorm first. It's going to be the easiest thing for right now as we get into this. So, 50 feet flying or movement. So we will go ahead and move up 50 feet and just kind of swoop in, and then we'll go ahead and do a Firestorm. Alright, so 1 use of Firestorm. We will go ahead and cast this using the template, and it looks like the best spot we can put it is right here on top of the Demilich and the Korred. Poor guy. Probably never even had a chance. Alright, here comes the Firestorm, and we have the following. A Firestorm with a DC 23 dex saving throw. Dune fails with a 16, and Huzek succeeds with a 23, just hitting that dex save. So, Korred takes 45 points of damage, and is still alive, surprisingly enough. And our Demilich here only takes half for 22 points of damage. Fascinating. Alright, let's see. Was there anything else to this Firestorm? Can I get that to stay up? No, I can't. Each creature in there makes a dex save. The fire damage knocks... Alright, flammable. I think that's about it. Does the Demilich have counterspell? Good question. Let's see here. No, the Demilich does not have counterspell. That apparently would be just a Lich maneuver. We do have lair actions, which we're not going to be using because we're not in the lair. We have a couple legendary actions. Vile Curse, Energy Drain, Cloud of Dust, and Flight. Avoidance, Turn a Mutiny. Let's see here. The Demilich is separated to an area effect to make them saving throw to take only half damage. Instead takes no damage if it succeeds. So our Demilich takes no damage because of the avoidance. Excellent to see that there. Thank you, Ian. Even though we didn't have the counter spell, we did have the avoidance here. So we don't have to worry about that. So we'll go ahead and revert the damage there. Our Demilich takes no damage. And for the time being, I think that's pretty much going to be it. So as that comes to an end, let's take a look at these. We have Flight, Cloud of Dust. What do we got for that? Demilich magically swirls some dust rains. Each creature in the 10 foot of the Demilich. Alright, that's not going to help. Energy Drain. Each creature within 30 feet of the Demilich, it's still not going to necessarily help. Vile Curse. The Demilich targets 1 creature it can see within 30 feet. The target must succeed on a Wisdom save. Alright, so first of all, can I... Let's see here. 55 feet. Alright, so that's not going to help. Jason says, darn, I was looking for some YouTube music for while I was work and got sucked into this awesomeness. There you go. Excellent. Thank you for joining, Jason, for while you're at work, and I'm glad this could help you out here. All right, so the only thing we're gonna do, since our Empyrean's turn is coming to an end is go ahead and do the fly ability. And it's going to fly up to half its speed, getting a little closer to the Empyrean here. So let's see. What is the movement for flying? 30 feet. So we're going to go ahead and move 15 feet out and get a little bit closer to that Empyrean for one of the legendary actions. All right, so that's going to be the end of Naergoth's turn. And we move on to Huzhek. Oh, well, what do you know? Isn't that appropriate? I'm going to leave that going and see if that gets cleared at the end of the round. Oh, I got the game paused for some reason. All right, so Huzhek is up. And we've already been looking at Huzhek. We got no spells. We do have some features. And we have 2 of 3 legendary actions remaining. We still have 3 resistances as well, if need be. We're not going to be using any lair actions because this is not their lair. So let's take a look at what we can do here. We could Howl. We could also Life Drain, which is probably going to be the route we're going to go here. And what else do we have? Just the turn immunity, legendary actions. Okay. So the Demilich targets up to 3 creatures that it can see within 10 feet of it. Well, that's 10 feet. We do have the Howl, which is 30 feet. All right, so we're going to have to get up a little bit closer. Oh, again, 30 feet of movement. Okay. So we're going to get up to 30 feet here. Oh, that's really funny. Wait, what is it? Why is it calculating from back there? Oh, okay. So that's 15. We got to go to roughly about there for 25 feet of movement to get within range. And we're going to go ahead and do the Life Drain, which for some reason is not there. All right, so there's the Life Drain. All right, cool. Firestorm was a good call. I didn't see the tiny Demilich there. Yeah, it's a shame that the avoidance and the save didn't deal any damage. But let's see how the Life Drain gets on here. All right, so Life Drain, targeting... Oh, no, we just targeted ourselves. Ah, silly. Korred as well. Korred, poor guy. All right, let's revert you because that was wrong. Get that targeting back into place here. All right. With the Life Drain, Constitution 19. Let's fix this real quick. We got to do a Constitution save with plus 10. More than likely is going to pass. With a 23, that is indeed a pass and a success. That's 17 points of necrotic damage. Let's go ahead and double check what our Life Drain does. Alright, so for the Life Drain, the Demilich targets up to 3 creatures. Each creature makes a Constitution save, taking necrotic damage, and the Demilich regains hit points equal to the total damage dealt to all targets. Alright, so that's going to be... I think because it's a resistance, it didn't do anything? Yeah, there's no half. It's a sucker save. Or... No. Yeah. Deals all or no damage. So no damage dealt to the Empyrean. And that will be the end of Huzhek's turn. He's going to go ahead and fly back another 5 feet because he had 5 feet of movement left over. And that will be Huzhek's turn. At the end of his turn, Naergoth is going to go ahead and use potentially one of his not firestorms, but one of his magical or legendary actions here. And we have Attack, Bolster, or Trembling Strike. Trembling Strike isn't really going to work because, you know, this thing's flying. So that's not going to help. And let's see here. For the attack, we can do 1 attack here. So we're going to go ahead and do Bolt more than likely because I don't believe the Maul can reach. 10 feet out, yeah, the Demilich did move back. So we're going to go ahead and use 1 action to do a Bolt attack. Oh, name will be taken. Excellent pun there, like that. I guess the Demilich failed to get ahead in the fight. Oh, no. Yep. Jason says, I'm waiting for the Empyrean to catch the Demilich and crush its tiny skull. Unfortunately, we can't move as a legendary action, but we are going to use the Bolt attack. So for 1 legendary action at the end of Huzhek's turn, we're going to go ahead and see the Empyrean go in for that attack here. There we go. So we're going to go and do that. Hopefully, real quick, let's see if we have any kind of... Oh, we don't have any animations. Can I do this real fast? Weapon type, generic... Melee. I want a ranged attack. We want spell, chain lightning. No. We'll just do an Eldritch Blast. That's going to be the best for that one. All right. So we're going to do a bolt attack on the Demilich from Naergoth here. All right. And let's go ahead and do that for 1 legendary action. That's going to be a base 2, unfortunately. And sadly, that is going to be a miss with a 17. So sadly, our Empyrean doesn't get a hit off, and that is going to end that bit of the round here as Huzhek's turn comes to an end. Up next is Tresku, and we will see what our little... Oh god, this Kua-toa Whip at CR1 is going to even think about doing here. Yes, the Empyrean can fly, so can the Demilich. This is going to be an interesting flying around battle, possibly. So our Kua-toa Whip here, yeah, Spellbook has a Spellbook, surprisingly enough. Has Bane, has Shield of Faith, has Thaumaturgy and Sacred Flame. Those aren't, well, the Sacred Flame could work. The Bane and Shield of Faith could also help out. Let's take a look at those real quick. Bane is, what's the range on that? The range is 30 feet, okay. The Shield of Faith is going to be 60 feet on whoever he applies that to, and the Sacred Flame is also 60 feet. Very good there. We have a feature of a bite, a pincer staff, multi-attack, and the Kua-toa will make 2 attacks with its bite and its pincer staff if need be, if we get up that close, which probably isn't going to be the best thing to do. And then we will see about this spellbook here. So we have Sacred Flame. Let's go ahead and get Trasku up to something safe here to get a little bit of AC protection. So we're going to go ahead and move 10 feet up to here, so he's now behind that. Name will be taken, said, must protect Trasku too. Precious to... can't let the precious die. Too precious to die. There we go. That's how it is. Yeah, so we still got that going on here. And so Trasku's turn. What can they even target here? Let's go ahead and take a look at measuring out. So we've got 60 feet there. We've got something I can't quite see there. 85. So the closest thing we could do with a Sacred Flame is hitting Narsargil with a Sacred Flame at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's go and target Narsargil, and we'll do a Sacred Flame and see how this works. The whip could maybe use Deception Thaumaturgy to make the lion statue sound like it's roaring. That could be something. That would be interesting. Let's see here. That would be a good way of not drawing attention to itself as well. So yeah, let's see about that, actually. We'll go ahead and do Thaumaturgy. I like that, Jason. +1 inspiration to you. Although, be warned that, you know, any inspiration you awarded here at the Monster vs. Monster channel or show may not be valid at your table. So, Thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy. And we're going to go ahead and do that. What's the range? 30 feet. 30 feet. Can we even do that? 30 feet? No. We could do 25 feet there. So we could see about making that one try and sound like it. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll cast Thaumaturgy. And let's see here. Spellbook. Oh, that was interesting. Okay, so the spell was afflicted. Let's see. What are we going to use here for this? We could probably do Arcana or maybe even Nature, considering where Thaumaturgy comes from. What's better here? Arcana's a +1. Nature's a +1. Religion. I would even accept religion. So we'll go with a religion. Can't wait for the Trescology. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with a religion check versus the insight check, since we're rolling a divine spell in essence. So we'll go with that roll there. 18 plus a whole bunch for 23, and Narsargil is going to make a check to see if he believes that sound is coming from the statue or not. So let's see here. What will we do here? Probably, yeah, we'll just go with the standard old insight check. So, standard insight check with a 4, total of 17. Good lord, that is a high insight check. Jeez, +13, fails, and maybe is distracted momentarily by the statue roaring, and that will give the next attack on the Empyrean here advantage. I'll give advantage on that one. I like that. I like that. That was really good. All right. Up next, as Trasku's turn comes to an end, we have Dune, the Korred here that's burning forever here. Let's take a look at theirs. There is something. Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is. Just a standard Korred. Let's see. We don't have any special things here. We do have damage resistance to non-magical weapons. We do have a spell book of Otto's Irresistible Dance, Commune with Nature, Meld into Stone, which, hey, that could be handy, and Stone Shape, as well as the following features of Great Club, Rock, Multi-Attack, Command Hair. Wow, okay, the Korred has at least one 50-foot long rope woven out of its hair. The Korred can command it to do a couple things, which could be pretty fun as a bonus action. The target must succeed on a dex saving throw. What, do we have a range or anything for that? AC of 20 hit points, it regains 1 hit point. The target must succeed on a what is that like? It's not telling me. what the range is or anything. Okay. We do have the spell casting, and we have stone camouflage. We could, like, meld, we could, like, partially hide behind these statues. That'd be kind of fun, too. All right. I forgot to check the speed. We have 30 feet and 30 foot of burrowing. We'll go ahead and dash up to the stone here. And then, why does it look like he's invisible? Just the artwork, I guess. You know, he's going to try making this Empyrean dance. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And it's not really an attack, so we won't get the effects of the lion roaring here. But we're going to go ahead and see if we can get this guy dancing or not. So Otto's irresistible dance on Narsargil. And that is going to be a 33 with advantage. Unfortunately, our Empyrean succeeds and does not start to irresistibly dance. Hey, Herr Doctor, there you are. Name will be taken, says the 50-foot rope is the range, I think. Nice. There we go. Yes, highlight. Trasku eulogy was what you were going for. Got you. Okay. Yes, exactly. Korred better be careful being so close to that tiny skull. Indeed, Jason. All right, so that's Dune's turn. Unfortunately, the irresistible dance does not go off, and we move on to our last two competitors here, Forsaken Face and Cookie. Let's take a look at Forsaken Face and see what they have. No legendary actions, thankfully, and we're going to actually use a couple of those legendary actions in a moment here to use them up before their turns begin again. And we have nothing special here. We have nothing in the spell book, so our Dragonflesh Grafter is pretty much just a running gun here. We have Acid Wretch, which is going to be a spray of acid bile in a 30-foot cone for a whole bunch of acid damage, and we can do that, it looks like, probably once on a 5 or 6 probably. We have a multi-attack with Great Club and a Claw. All right, so we got 30 foot there. Let's see about their intelligence and wisdom. Okay, so we know they've got decent tactics, so they're going to use the statue here to kind of attempt to hide behind, and they can move 30 feet like standard. All right, so we're going to just have him kind of go up to here, duck behind this statue here while not really doing that much to it, and is going to go ahead and just go on a dodge action because that's about all they can do for the time being, sadly. So that is Forsaken Face's turn since they are just a melee combatant. And we are moving on to the last competitor here, Cookie. Now, before Cookie's turn starts, we're going to go ahead and deal with the Demilich and the Empyrean's last two legendary actions. So we have Cloud of Dust, we have Energy Drain. Yeah, that'll be easy here. Each creature within 30 feet of the Demilich. Yes. Ooh, that one could be bad. Yeah, I mean, it is neutral evil, so it really doesn't care. So it's going to go ahead and just do it. All right, it's going for an energy drain. And let's see here. Let's do this and see what happens. All right, so each creature within 30 feet. I can probably just lay a template down, I would hope. And let's see here. Energy drain. There you are. Oh, wait. What? No. Hold up. That's saying 3. Let me double check that real quick. Does that say 3 here as well? Oh, okay. That's probably just telling me how much is left. Dodge. Okay, let's... It's not doing anything. Why are you not doing anything? Oh, this is so obnoxious when this does this. Okay, let's see here. Saving throw, range... 2 legendary actions, targets, range, feet, range, that would be 30 feet, enemies, duration, alright, that should be good. Now let's see about the formula here real quick. 3d6. Pardon me, folks, while I get this working, because otherwise this is annoying. That should be necrotic. Oh, no. Okay, so that is just going to reduce the maximum hit points by 3d6. Oh, I see. Okay. That's why there's nothing going on here. Alright, let's just restore that real fast. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the energy drain. Everything within 30 feet. which is probably going to be a lot. Okay, so just Korred and the Empyrean. There we go. Easy enough. Constitution saves. Okay, so Empyrean's going to do its Constitution save. Oh, with a natural 20, folks. That is going to be a 30 and definitely does save against the Constitution 15 here. Korred, on the other hand, poor guy. Let's see what happens here. 18 also saves. So, let's see how this works. On a failed save, the creature's maximum hit point is magically reduced. If a creature's hit point maximum is reduced to 0, the creature dies. A creature's hit point maximum can't be restored. Okay, so sadly, nothing happens. It just goes out there and does its whole energy drain, but does not get affected. So now, Narsargil is going to go ahead and take 2 more of its bolt actions through the turns here to attack Huzhek. So the first of two legendary actions is going to be a 23, hits Huzhek for 27 points of some kind of damage, and then goes in to attack once more using its last legendary action, and will also hit, dealing 20 more points of damage. Wow, Huzhek has taken quite a hit here and is bloodied. Alright, this Empyrean is doing some work against that Demilich. I thought the Demilich was going to be quite the problem here. Oh, that's why. I got a fog going on because it's a dream state. So there's fogs rolling through, and that's why the token looks weird. I'm so silly. Okay, and finally, to end this round, we are going to go ahead to Cookie our Megapede. Let's take a look at Cookie our Megapede. No legendary actions or resistances. We don't have a spellbook. We just have a bite, a multi-attack, a life drain, and a psychic bomb. What? I was not expecting that. The Megapede targets one creature can see within 60 feet. The target makes a wisdom save. On a fail, they take a whole bunch of psychic damage and are incapacitated until the end of the turn. On a success, they take half as much damage and are not incapacitated. Then we have Life Drain. The Megapede magically draws life energy from other creatures nearby. Each creature within 15 feet makes a con save or takes necrotic damage. Half as much on a fail. And then we have the multi-attack. The Megapede makes one bite and uses either Life Drain or Psychic Bomb. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and move up our 40 feet. Good lord, that thing is just massive. And let's see here, 40 feet to here. Comes barreling along, trembling, the ground's trembling and whatnot. Can see just barely Ulrich behind there. Let's take a look here. The bite obviously only has, it has a 20-foot reach. And clearly that is not going to be close enough, as we are just out of range to bite from that far away. Good lord, that is obscene. Alright, and then since we can't make the bite, we can still do a Life Drain or a Psychic Bomb. So, considering we haven't need anything, well, we do need a little bit of life back. Each creature takes, it's not like that Life Drain. Let's try the Psychic Bomb out and see what happens here. Wisdom save on Ulrich here. So, go ahead and drop that down. We're going to use the Psychic feature and go for the Psychic Bomb on Ulrich. Alright, that's going to be a whole bunch of, oh, look at that! Yeah, a little bomb was thrown. That was funny. Alright, DC 15 Wisdom save. Ulrich fails with a 9 and takes 16 points of psychic damage as the bomb is just kind of blowing up in his head. Does he have any cover from being behind the statue? Yes, partially, but because the psychic bomb is a Wisdom save, it's not going to help him with the save, unfortunately. If it was an actual attack, yes, I would have given him partial cover for that, but sadly, he doesn't get anything from the psychic bomb, sadly. Alright. Now, we come to the lair action, and previously and earlier on, we had the vote here, and for the vote, it was decided that we would have sudden traps appearing. So, for this one, we're going to say that everyone within 5 feet of the statues is going to have to take and make a dexterity save or be hit by just a sudden wave of heat, as the lion statues themselves all burst out a gout of fire. So the statues aren't as safe as as one would think. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and make a whole bunch of dexterity saves real quick here, and then they'll be dealt a whole bunch of damage. All right, so going down the line here, we are going for dex saves. I'm just going to go ahead and roll these real fast. and then see how it all works out. Surprisingly enough, the only one that isn't being affected by this is our Demilich. Alright. And the dex save we're looking for is a 15. Alright, with that, Trasku fails with a 14. Our Bladelord succeeds with a 20. Cookie critically succeeds with a 20, taking only partial damage. I really want to put in Pathfinder 2e rules and have that as a complete success, taking no damage. Lucan likes the idea of the Megapede just pulling out an artisanal bomb and throwing it. Dune critically fails. Nasargil succeeds, and Forsaken Face also succeeds. So we're going to get a whole bunch of half damage here. So for this, we're going to deal, we'll go with 2d damage, 2d10 worth of damage right now for the, for that. Yeah, we'll go with 2d10. That sounds about right. And everyone else will take half that failed. So that's going to be 10 points of fire damage to those that failed. So Dune takes 10. And Dune, where are you hiding up here? Oh, you poor boy. Take 10 points of damage. Then we have, who else failed? Forsaken Face failed with a 10. So you're going to take 10 points of damage. Wow, you do not have a lot of hit points, my man. And Trasku failed as well. Okay, and then the others will take half damage. Trade 11, you missed most of this. Really enjoyed the previous one. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, you've only missed round 1. We're just about to get to round 2 here. Oh man, just took a dent out of him. That's it, like a little teeny tiny bit there. Okay, that is the end of the layer action for round 1. Now we're gonna go ahead and look at our poll here, and it looks like we are going from the bottom up again, so 1% and higher. We currently have 7 likes on the channel, so we will add 7 to 1. So 1 to 8. If we get a 1 to an 8, the third-party Devastator is going to come in for this one. And let's go here and put up one more poll to finish this off. Who takes home the win? Who's going to win this battle? So we're going to go with the big boys, small boys. Actually, I want to do something funny real quick here. Okay. Once more, small boys. Or the third party. Alright. With the last poll for this game, go ahead and put in your votes now. Cast your votes to see who you think will win this game of Monster vs. Monster here. So, now, let's get back to the end of round roll here. With, again, 7 likes on the channel, or for this video in particular, we're going to look for a 1 to 8. If a 1 to 8 happens, then someone big's coming in, and I already have an idea of who that big person is. Considering that this is a dream realm, you know, anything could show up. And the roll's coming in for a 24. Unfortunately, the third party doesn't show up. At least not yet, anyway. That is the end of round 1, and we go to the top of round 2 here with Ulrich starting us off. Who is Frizz betting on? Ian asks. I'm betting with him. Right now, I'd say Frizz and Krim are just kind of squabbling and fighting with each other. So they're going to come on over here, and they're trying to battle over who's going to sit in the one chair. So, you know, there's like a whole bunch of slapping and face pushing and whatnot as they're both trying to get into this chair to watch the battle going on. All right. They're not really paying attention to what's going on. They're too busy competing with each other. And we start with Ulrich. Let's see who or what Ulrich is going to do as we get into the top of round 2 here. Once again, we have that multi-attack. We have the life drain, the longsword. And yeah, considering that we are, you know, the Megapede has gotten much closer, Ulrich's going to go ahead and drop the longbow, pull out the longsword, and go in for 3 longsword attacks. Probably doing a life drain as well. All right, so that's going to be that. And then rushes up to confront the Megapede. Alright, so attack number 1 is going to be a longsword swipe. Swipe number 1 is going to be a base 19. Watch that animation go. Ooh, I like that backhand hit. That was good. For a total of 14 points of necrotic damage. And then attack number 2, and let me just double check this real quick. He makes 3 attacks with his longsword or longbow and can use a life drain in place of 1. Okay, excellent. Goes in for longsword attack number 2, base 2, total 11. Definitely misses Cookie, unfortunately, with as big as this creature is. Maybe he just kind of like rears up and does that whole like wah! Noise. And then we go in for the life drain attack. So let's take a look at this real quick. Melee weapon attack does a whole bunch here. Does some necrotic damage. The target must succeed on a constitution save or its hit point maximum is reduced. And then, let's see here. The reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. The target dies. Okay, so we're looking for a potential life drain. 5d6 plus 3. Let's take a look at that longsword real quick. Yeah, that's a whole... Well, let's see how the damage works out. We're going to go in for a life drain. And unfortunately, with a base 4, total 13, the life drain just does not connect trying to get the Megapede. And Ulrich is going to hold his ground facing off against this Megapede. Alright, that is Ulrich's turn. We move on to Narsargil, our Empyrean. Alright, so since that didn't go away, we're going to have to get rid of this template ourselves. And we're going to go ahead and move around here a little bit. So, since our Empyrean can go, he's going to go right on up, pulling out that big old sledgehammer, and is going to swing against Huzhek here. Now, I just wanted to double check, because I didn't look at the maul. The reach was 10 feet. It doesn't really matter. He's going to just get right on up there and get a little too close and personal, and is going to take a swing at Huzhek here. Alright, folks, go ahead and watch this, because this silly friggin' maul is going to be huge. And just to remind myself, there is no multi-attack here. So this is a one-swinger. And with that, it's going to be a base 12, total of 29. Look at that massive animation. Good lord. Alright, 29 points of bludgeoning damage. Huzhek succeeds the constitution save of 15. And let's see here. That's for the stun. I have to revert the damage real quick because this game doesn't know how to deal with the proper damage here. And should be dealt, yes, 29 points of damage, which is putting Huzhek into a critical state. My goodness, that is massive. With the legendary actions restored to Narsargil, things could be pretty rough for Huzhek here. Alright, let's take a look at Huzhek. What can they do? They are just about dead. And if they die here, they might actually die in reality. Who knows? Alright, we have the energy drain. We have the vital curse. We can't do any of that right now. So let's see here. We can do the howl. So we're going to go ahead and do the howl. Because every Demilich needs to do the howl. So the Demilich is going to emit a blood-curdling howl. Each creature within 30 feet of the Demilich that can hear the howl must succeed on a constitution saving throw. Or drop to 0 hit points. I mean, we just did the life drain before, and Huzhek saw that the constitution was really high. So maybe there's no point. You never know. Let's see what happens. There's not much else he can do at the moment. So he's going to go ahead and go in for the howl. And unfortunately, poor Dune is there as well. Can he get closer to anyone if he also moves? You know, he's going to shift over to here. We're going to have him shift over to here. And then that's going to put him closer to hitting a whole bunch of other people. So, with that, we have a 30-foot range. So let's go ahead and see about that. Start measuring. Oh, that's cool. I like that they can do that. So 30 feet to him, 30 feet to him, and just out of range there. Okay. So we're going to go for that howl. This is kind of like a last-ditch effort of our Demilich here. And the howl is coming in. Oh man, that's funny. Okay, so 30 feet here. Click you, and click you. Let's try that once more. Oh yes, the howl has been discharged. Let's put you back on, because you forgot that the charge thing. There we go. Let's do the howl once more. Though those are within range. And with a DC 15 check for the howl, Narsargil succeeds with a 27. Dune succeeds with a 23. Forsaken Face also succeeds with a 16. The howl goes off and does nothing, folks. The Demilich, unfortunately, has been ineffective. I thought this was going to be the dark horse of the game, surprisingly enough. And that is Huzhek's turn. As much and as frustrated as Huzhek is with this is just how it works out sometimes. And with that turn coming to an end, Naergoth goes in for the attack with his maul. So he's going to go ahead and make one swing against Huzhek and go in for the attack. Here comes that massive, massive maul. With a base 3, we do indeed hit Huzhek for 38 points of damage. And regardless of the Constitution save, even though he failed, Huzhek has been defeated. There's nothing else he can do about it. Alright, that is the end of the Demilich, folks. Surprising, very extremely surprising on this one here. Alright, so that is one action down, one legendary action down for Naergoth, and we move on to Trasku. Trasku is over here, kind of cowering and kind of annoyed about being, set on fire, and is going to go ahead and dip away, maybe rushing over to the side here. And, yeah, we'll have him kind of, rush back over to the side here. And maybe do something. Let's see about that. I think the only thing he can kind of do is target Cookie here with the Sacred Flame. Why did that just try to do something? I don't understand. Alright, we're going to go ahead and cast a spell. We're going to do a Sacred Flame. At least it's something here. And that's going to be a total of 3 points of damage. A nice little burst, but sadly Cookie succeeds the dexterity save and rears back once again, doing that crazy giant insect thing noise that you'd see in the movies, like the old movies from the 60s and 70s, and then lands with a thud right in front of Ulrich once more. And oh no, Cookie failed. Never mind. He actually did take the damage. No damage on save. Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. There's been some updates, which is kind of nice. So, he takes the 3 points of damage. Sacred Flame does hit him. He still squeals like an insect. And Trasku is just kind of cowering in the back here, trying to not really draw too much attention to himself. That is Trasku's turn. We do have Naergoth going to go ahead and also use another of its legendary actions to target Dune here, who is hiding partially behind the statue here. We're going to give him a +2 AC bonus. And what is that? That's 10 feet out? Yeah, that's just enough for the maul. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick legendary action maul attack on Dune. With a base 15, total of 32, even with the cover, that's not going to help Dune at all. And Dune takes 33 points of damage. Constitution fails, and Dune is stunned. So let's go ahead and take a look here for the stunned condition. And as always, it would be really nice if these were in alphabetical order or some form, because for the life of me, I cannot figure out which one is stunned. Gotta sleep. Oh, there it is. Very good. Okay. So Dune is stunned from the attack, because if we look back at the weapon here, the target is stunned until the Empyrean's next turn. So poor Dune is pretty much stuck. Alright, with that, Trasku's turn is over. Legendary action number 2 for Naergoth is done, and we move on to Dune, who sadly can't do anything after being walloped with that massive maul. Up next is Forsaken Face. And Forsaken Face, seeing that the threats are pretty much done here, is going to shift over and maybe go after Ulrich. Yeah, I think the big guy's definitely got this one too, Ian. Oof, man, this is rough. Alright, so Forsaken Face is going to jot out 30 feet. Can we get there? No, we can't. We're going to go to about here. And Forsaken Face really isn't doing much of anything, but, they're making their way up there. Trying to be smart. Trying to be smart about it. Alright, that is Forsaken Face's turn. We're going to go for the dodge action, and that is the end. Cookie is up next, and Cookie will rear back, targeting Ulrich, and go in for the attack. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and do a bite, and then we will do one of the other things. So, bite attack first on Ulrich is going to be a base 12, total of 22, and that's going to be 38 points of piercing and poison damage, reduced to 8. Oh man, that was surprising. So, let's take a look at Ulrich here and see why that's happening. Ulrich has resistance to necrotic damage, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from attacks that are not magical, and is immune to poison. So, that is why we only have 8 points of damage here, because he's undead, folks. Oh man, that's really funny. Such a massive hit, and could have put Ulrich in the dirt, and because he's undead, he's perfectly fine. Alright, so the next one will be to go ahead and do the life drain. Considering the psychic bomb was meh, it was okay, let's go ahead and see what happens with the life drain. So each creature within 15 feet That would technically also be Forsaken Face, considering they're not exactly allies. Let's see here. Does it? Yeah. Yeah, it's all creatures, so it doesn't really matter, unfortunately. And Forsaken Face is right there, so it's going to go for the life drain. Alright, so the life drain is going to deal 23 points of necrotic damage. And with a Constitution save of 15, Ulrich fails with a 13, and Forsaken Face succeeds with a 17. So, thanks to that, Ulrich ends up taking 11 points, reduced down because it's necrotic damage, and he is resistant to necrotic. And then we have poor Forsaken Face, hasn't been able to do anything, and gets slammed with necrotic damage for, looks like 11 points of damage. Now, I'm not too worried about their hit points being reduced because, you know, this pretty much ends here until later on when we will potentially see these characters later on in the game somewhere. So that's Cookie's turn. Cookie is going to maybe eyeball the little morsel over there and starts to shift. So that's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and we'll just kind of go there. Let's see here. Now, the intelligence here would suggest, okay, base intelligence. Yeah, you know what? They've targeted Ulrich. We're going to go right back to this. He's not moving anywhere. Okay, so he will fight Ulrich until something else happens, because base intelligence, go for the closest thing. So that's the end of Cookie's turn. We now move on to the lair action as more traps come out and a series of portholes open up around the sides of this Colosseum here. And all of a sudden, crossbow bolts get fired out, and everyone in the area, except for maybe right in the center, we'll say the center is the safe zone, everyone on the outer ring gets attacked. So we'll say these two, Dune and Forsaken Face, don't get attacked. Everyone else has to make a dexterity save. Once again, DC 15. So we're going to go ahead and quickly rush through all of these and get our dex saves in. Otherwise, they'll take some arrow damage. All right, dex saves coming in. That's for Ulrich, that's for Cookie, and for our Empyrean here. All right. And reviewing them, Trasku fails with a 12. Ulrich fails with an 11. Cookie fails with a 10. And Narsargil passes with a 17. So we have 3 fails, taking a whole bunch of damage. We're going to go with 3d6 this time in damage. And that's going to be a whopping total of 7 points of damage here. So this is going to be 7 points to pour Trasku down there. Megapede, I forgot to check. Well, that was fire last time. So this time there's going to be partial damage. But Cookie also fails, taking 7 points of damage. Ulrich is going to take half of that for 3 because, you know, resistances. And then the Empyrean passes and I believe has resistance as well. Yes. So he passed, he takes half, he'll take half again. So he takes like 1 point of damage. No sweat off his back. Alright, so at the end of Cookie's turn, Narsargil here is going to use his last legendary action to attack poor Dune here and slam him with the maul. Let's see here. Ulrich could try to get the giant centipede to knock the statue into that under thing on the other side. Can't quite read it, unfortunately. I got a thing in the way. Oh, the undead. Or it could try to get the giant centipede to knock the statue into the undead thing on the other side. That is true. We could potentially do something like that if need be. Alright, Narsargil is going to go ahead and use the last turn here. Last legendary action to slam on poor little Dune with a base 16 and 33 total. That is going to be a hit for 33 points of bludgeoning damage, and Dune has been squashed. That is pretty much the end of Dune as well. Take another point for our Empyrean here. Oh, the tiny skull. Yeah, that was legendary action, actually. It was directly after Huzhek's turn at the beginning of round 2, unfortunately. So, oh, now I see what you were saying. Yeah, okay. Having the statue fall on Huzhek. Yeah, no, Narsargil just slammed him hard with the maul as a legendary action. And with all of Narsargil's turns done, the lair action also being completed, we move on to our round 2 check here. So, Looking at the likes, we have 7 likes on the channel, which means we are again looking at 1 to 8 here. And with that, we have a total of 58, sadly right in the middle, and unfortunately, we do not get the third-party Devastator to come in. It does happen occasionally, but there's a very small chance. All right, beginning of round 3, we have Ulrich here, who is going to go ahead and... yeah, seeing that we have this guy coming in, Ulrich's going to go ahead and shift over to get out of the way here to try and reposition to stay away from being flanked. And then goes in to attack Cookie a whole bunch of times here. Once again, probably just going to go in for 3 longsword attacks instead of trying to life drain and just finish this thing off. Alright, so attack number 1 is going to be a base 19, almost a critical hit. And we have 21 points of damage straight into Cookie here. Attack number 2 is going to be a base 6 total of 15, which apparently does hit for a total of 25 more points, and Cookie has now been bloodied. And then finally, with a base 12, total of 21, Ulrich hits once again for a total of 21, doing some severe damage to the Megapede here. Alright, that is the end of Ulrich's turn, and we move on to Naergoth here, who has to decide what to do next. Alright, so, considering that the Ulrich here, the undead, is the most threatening one out of everyone here, he's going to go ahead and double move, since he can't do anything really else at the moment. So with that, we are going to go ahead and fly 100 feet, unless we can get there in 50. Let's see here. Yep. Okay. Unfortunately not, so he's just going to kind of come on over here and just land. Like this big, you know, Hulk leap in the air, flies over and just slams behind Ulrich and lands there. And Ulrich, being the undead, doesn't really meep, he's just kind of doing his thing. That'll be Naergoth's turn, and we move on. As Huzhek is dead and we cannot do anything for him, we move on to Trasku, who is going to, I guess, try to do another Sacred Flame on Cookie, and then is going to move back even further, trying to keep himself from being spotted, so to say. Alright, so we want to see here. 50 feet, we can move back. We'll just go ahead and do that Sacred Flame real quick, and then we will move on to moving him away to try and survive. Could Ulrich climb up on the Megapede and ride it into the Empyrean? You know, in theory, but then that would be like making a check for animal handling or insect handling or some kind of a nature check. It would be funny to try and do that, but we'll see what happens here. This is coming to a quick and concise end. Pretty fast, unfortunately. Alright, so Trasku is going to go ahead and do a Sacred Flame once again. Actually, let's see here. We do have Bane. I forgot all about that. 30-foot range. And let's see here. What would he have to be to get 30 feet to hit a whole bunch of characters? Oh, whoa, okay. I think I saw it. Alright, so Trasku's going to foolishly move over, target all of these creatures, potentially with Bane here, and should be able to Bane them. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's see here. With a Bane DC of 12 Charisma save, Forsaken Face fails with a 6 and is now Baned. Cookie succeeds with a 16, and Naergoth succeeds because of advantage. So, unfortunately, Forsaken Face is the only one that has been afflicted with Bane. And sadly, I can't add any kind of spell effect, so I just have to remember that they have a minus D4 for any and all rolls. That might have been a silly move for our little Kua-toa Whip here, but we'll see what happens as we continue on. As Trasku's turn ends, Naergoth goes ahead and targets Ulrich with the, it's just his massive hammer and just starts slamming again. Base 9 to hit, total of 26. Massively nails Ulrich for 34 points of damage. It's reduced to 17, and still not bloodied. Our undead Mega White here is doing okay for itself so far. Trasku's turn ends, and we move on to Forsaken Face, who, finally might have a chance to do something here, and is going to rush out and attack Trasku, considering, you know, he just got baned by Trasku and is going to attempt to hit. Now, we have to remember, we have a minus D4 here for all rolls. So, let's take a look here what our late game player can do, and we have a multi-attack of 1 claw and 1 great club attack, as well as an acid belch, which, sadly, is kind of pointless to use right now. So, we're going to go ahead and do the claw, and that's going to be a total of 14, which even with the minus D4 of an average of 2, let's see here, the AC of 11, that is going to be a hit regardless, and deals Trasku 15 points of slashing and poisoning damage, and then goes in for a great club attack. And then on the backhand comes in, swings, and totally, that's actually going to be a miss with the Bane, because of an average of 2 on the D4. Even with a 1, that's still going to be a miss. We'll go ahead and revert the damage, and Trasku misses the Great Club swing thanks to the Bane effect affecting Forsaken Face at the moment. Alright, so that's going to be the end of Forsaken Face's turn, and once again, the Empyrean goes in to target Ulrich with the Maul Slam. So, that's going to be a base 4, total of 21, does indeed hit Ulrich for 28 points of bludgeoning damage, reduced to nothing, actually. Ulrich fails the Constitution save. Oh, that's what happened up here earlier on. Okay, I gotta do one quick thing. I gotta revert the damage. He doesn't get stunned, so we're gonna go ahead and apply that damage. Ulrich is now bloodied, and then with the extra 28 points of damage here, Ulrich fails the Constitution save and is indeed stunned. Okay. So we got that stun condition as well as being bloodied here, and this is pretty much going to be the end, I'm sure. Oh, and I forgot, we are flanking, technically. So let's go ahead and roll some d20s to see about that crit damage. We are crit hunting here. So for the first one, that was two swings ago, that was a 4, and for this one just now, that's going to be an 8, and no advantage here for the critical hits. Alright, so that's going to be the end of Forsaken Face's turn. We now turn to Cookie, who's going to go ahead and make a bite against Ulrich because, you know, why not? And with that bite, we are rolling at advantage because of flanking rules. And with that, we have a base 15, total of 25, and that's going to be 57 points of piercing and poison damage, reduced to 14. So funny. Oh man, that's so ridiculous. And then goes in for the Psychic Bomb, because that might actually make the most sense here. The target's 1 creature within 60 feet. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and do the Psychic Bomb against Ulrich. And with that, that's going to be a total of 24 points of psychic damage as the bomb goes out, hits, and Ulrich succeeds with a 26 on the Psychic Bomb, taking half the damage, and is near death here. As Cookie's turn comes to an end, Narsargil is going to go ahead and try the bolt attack. Now, because he's within range, but the target is stunned, he's going to have technically disadvantage, but he has advantage from flanking, so this is going to be a regular bolt attack to see if he can do more damage than his Maul is doing to Ulrich. Or no, never mind. No, he's not going to do that because the Maul still does full damage because he's doing magical swing attacks. Alright. My mistake here with a total of 12, total of 29, and let's just roll one more d12 for that, or d20 for that crit hunt. We're going to get a 34 points of damage. Ulrich succeeds on the Constitution save and is going to be dealt the full amount of damage here. And Ulrich has been defeated. That is the end of our undead and basically our small boys. Trasku's probably going to beg for his life as the end of the round comes, but we still have to roll for our lair actions because we haven't quite finished the round off yet here. So, what's going to happen here? For this one's going to be a little different. The middle section opens up and a bunch of kind of like punji sticks, just spears shoot up from the center column, and sadly no one's in the center area here to be dealt damage, and yeah, that whole trap doesn't have any effect through here. So the last round goes and does nothing. Let's take one more look here. We have 8 likes on the channel tonight, or for this live stream. So we're going to go ahead and look for a 1 to 9% as we end round 3 and see if, you know, our third-party Devastator comes in with a 0 to 9, or 1 to 9, and then a roll of 28. Sadly, our third party does not come in to make any kind of show here. And with that, we go to the top of round 4. Nasargil is the first one to go, and we see that Trasku is the last one left here. Considering he is technically chaotic evil? Neutral evil. Neutral evil isn't really going to be one that kills just outright. If he was chaotic evil, I'd say so. But yeah, maybe he just kind of goes to take him and capture him and then fly off. But yeah, the dream basically ends as Frizz and Krim are still constantly face slapping each other and trying to push their way into the chair, and don't even really notice that the battle has ended here. So we're going to end tonight's game of Monster vs. Monster with a success for the big boys. Ending the poll here, we'll see that 60% of you voted for the big boys, and those that did vote, you got it correct. Thank you for voting. The small boys, unfortunately, and the third party didn't make a scene here, did not make it this time. So with that, we end this week's episode of Monster vs. Monster here. And thank you all so much for joining me. We're going to go into the business now and talk a little bit about that as we end combat. Yes, we're currently ending combat. And let's talk about everything here. As I said before, the virtual tabletop of choice is Foundry VTT. Foundry is an amazing software and program. You pay for it once, and that's it. Unlike every other service out there except for like Owlbear Rodeo, everything else costs you money because it's a service. So you pay $50 for Foundry, or get someone to buy you a gift card, or buy it for you for Christmas or something, or your birthday, and you get it once, and it pays itself back in 3 to 6 months, as compared to, you know, premium features of Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or all the other ones. I think there's one called Shard that's coming out. Yeah, Foundry is the way to go. Believe me, it is a great one here. Now, the battle map is by Chain Peku. You can get this battle map and a whole slew of other various versions of this battle map and others at neutral. You can go to chainpeku.com to see their maps, or you can go and support them on Patreon like I do at patreon.com/chaypeku. The music is a free resource here on YouTube, and it's called Imperial March, I believe. Imperial Forces. I don't have that one properly linked, and I just killed the music, unfortunately. So there's that, sadly. And then the names were all generated by fantasynamegenerator.com, and the 2 tokens up here for Krim and Frizz are by my moderator and good buddy here in the live stream, Hair Doctor. Thank you again, Hair Doctor, for all the work you do on the channel. It's super appreciated. Again, as always, Ian Revick, Jason, Trade 11, Lucan, Name Will Be Taken, and Hair Doctor. You guys have all been awesome. Thank you all so much for joining me for tonight's live stream. And anyone else that watches this later on as a live stream video on demand or a VOD, you're amazing as well. And this is me, Andrew, as always, asking the question: are your encounters even rated? Thank you all so much for joining me tonight, folks, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for my crew's Everside Questers adventures in the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Abomination Vaults. So there's that. And don't forget, every Thursday at 6 in the morning, my new series of Notorious, the solo RPG, also drops. So come and check that one out. If you haven't seen that yet, the story of Orin Dusk has completed and gone through its motions, and now we are now seeing the tale of Draven Stormstrike, the next Nomad. That one's a great one. That's Star Wars, but not Star Wars. So go and check that one out as well if you haven't. Excellent, Jason. Yes, definitely get Foundry. It is a fantastic item here. And if you need to, come and join my Discord. If you want the Discord link, I will definitely hit that up. Just put a comment in this afterwards, and I'll get you a link for the Discord. And I'll share everything I use to make this game so awesome here for VTTs, because there's a whole bunch of extra modules you'll need to get it doing certain things like this. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Good night, folks.